Now, dear students, next topic, that is projectile motion. Okay. See, projectile motion means what? When any object is thrown in the gravitational field of Earth at some angle with horizontal, then that particular object move with constant horizontal velocity and constant vertical acceleration. This type of motion, that is called projectile motion, and the object which one is projected, that is called projectile. तो देखो यहाँ पे horizontal means हम x डायरेक्शन लेते हैं, तो with respect to that at some angle theta 0, अगर कोई ऑब्जेक्ट ऐसे हमने थ्रो किया, राइट, then it will move with constant horizontal velocity, right? Now, how we can say it move with constant horizontal velocity? So, here we can say it move with constant horizontal velocity because when the object is thrown in the gravitational field, the force which one is acting on the object, that is gravitational force, and gravitational force act only in vertical direction. So horizontal component of that force is 0. So during this motion, if we think about the component of the velocity of the object in horizontal direction, then there is no force. If force is not there, acceleration is not there, so we can say the velocity is constant. But here if we take the vertical component of the motion, then in vertical direction gravitational force is there, right? And gravitational force, that is constant one. So acceleration of the object, that is also constant one. So we can say this object move with constant horizontal velocity and constant vertical acceleration. Then such two-dimensional motion, that is called projectile motion. Clear? Now see here, we want to explain this particular motion, right? Actually in this theory we have to explain this motion. अब ये जो मोशन है वो हम एक्सप्लेन करना चाहते हैं, तो इसमें हमें क्या क्या सोचना चाहिए? देखो, हमने ऑब्जेक्ट यहां से प्रोजेक्ट किया. सपोज द ऑब्जेक्ट इज प्रोजेक्टेड विथ इनिशियल वेलोसिटी v0 at some angle theta 0 with respect to x axis, or we can say with respect to horizontal direction. तो इसकी इनिशियल वेलोसिटी इन हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन क्या है वो हम देखेंगे. वो वेलोसिटी कांस्टेंट रहेगी थ्रू आउट द मोशन. वर्टिकल वेलोसिटी कैसे चेंज हो रही है? ऑब्जेक्ट ऊपर जा रहा है, राइट? सो अप टू विच मैक्सिमम हाइट इट विल मूव इन अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन. मैक्सिमम हाइट तक जाने के लिए कितना टाइम लेगा? देन इट मूव इन डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन, राइट? तो यहाँ पे वो हॉरिजॉन्टल डायरेक्शन पे मींस अर्थ की सरफेस पे गिर जाता है, राइट? तो टोटल टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट क्या है उसका? यहां से यहां तक का हॉरिजॉन्टल डिस्टेंस उसने कितना कवर अप किया, राइट? फिर ये जो पाथ उसने ओबे किया, राइट? ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर पाथ इट मूव, तो उसकी ट्रेजेक्टरी मीन्स पाथ, उसका जो पाथ है वो कैसा है, उसका इक्वेशन क्या होगा? तो ये सब चीजें जब हम एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, उसके सब इक्वेशंस प्रिपेयर करेंगे, देन वी कैन से यस, नाउ वी कैन एक्सप्लेन दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्टाइल मोशन. क्लियर? ओके. अब देखो, इनिशियल वेलोसिटी विथ विच इट इज प्रोजेक्टेड, दैट इज v0, and it is projected at some angle theta 0. This is called angle of projection with horizontal direction or x-axis, right? Now here acceleration, that is the gravitational acceleration. Okay, So that is in vertically downward direction. Upward direction is positive y, downward is negative y. So we can say acceleration that is minus gj caret. So here x component of acceleration is 0 and y component is minus g. Now the component of initial velocity. So initial velocity is v0, angle with x-axis that is theta 0. So initial velocity in x direction that is v0x, that is v0 cos theta 0, and in y direction v0y, that is v0 sin theta 0. Clear? Now let's start different equations. Okay, now see here, position of the particle at any time t. Okay, now if you want to locate the position of the particle in xy plane, then you must have x coordinate and y coordinate for that position. X coordinate इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि distance covered in x direction. Y coordinate means distance covered in y direction. अब horizontal motion and vertical motion दोनों हम इंडिपेंडेंट ले सकते हैं, क्योंकि दोनों एक दूसरे से परपेंडिकुलर है, तो एक दूसरे के ऊपर उनकी इफेक्ट जीरो होगी, बिल्कुल नल होगी, राइट. सो इफ वी थिंक अबाउट द हॉरिजॉन्टल मोशन, then horizontal motion that is with constant velocity, so distance covered in horizontal direction x, that is equal to velocity in x direction into time t. So velocity in x direction, that is constant one, that is v0 cos theta 0 into t, and vertical motion that is with constant acceleration. So previously we derived the equation of motion with constant acceleration. We can use the equation d equal to v0t plus half at square. So here distance covered in vertical direction we take y. So initial velocity in y direction v0y into time t plus half ay t square. Now initial velocity in y direction, that is v0 sin theta 0 into t as it is, ay, that is minus g, previously we discussed, so it is replaced by minus g. So y, that is equal to v0 sin theta 0 into t minus half gt square. Now at any instant t, here see, v0 sin theta 0 half g all are constant. In this equation v0 cos theta 0 constant. So at any time t in this equations, if you substitute the value of t, you will get x and y coordinate for the position, and with the help of that you can locate the position of the particle. Clear? Or we can say projectile. Now velocity at any time t. So we know this thing, in horizontal direction the velocity that is constant one, right? But vertical motion, that is with constant acceleration. So we can use the equation v equal to v0 plus at. So x velocity, that is v0x, that is v0 cos theta 0, and it is constant. Velocity in y direction at any time t, that is v0y plus ayt. So v0 sin theta 0 minus gt. So at any time t, you have x component of velocity, y component of velocity, means resultant velocity will be under root vx square plus vy square. ऐसे हम कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. नाउ इक्वेशन ऑफ पाथ ऑफ अ प्रोजेक्टाइल, तो वो किस पाथ को फॉलो करेगा. फिगर में तो हमने देखा कि वो ऐसे ऊपर जाता है फिर नीचे आता है. सो मैथमेटिकली हाउ वी कैन एक्सप्लेन. सो इफ यू वांट टू एक्सप्लेन द पाथ, then you have to prepare the equation of y in terms of x. Means you have to establish the relationship between y and x. Now see here, we have the equation of x, that is v0 cos theta 0 into t. So यहाँ पे हमने टी को सब्जेक्ट ऑफ इक्वेशन कर लिया, सो टी इक्वल टू एक्स अपॉन वी जीरो कॉस थीटा जीरो। अब जो टी की ये वैल्यू है वो हम ये जो इक्वेशन है y वाला उसमें सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे, राइट। तो y और x की रिलेशनशिप एस्टैब्लिश हो जाएगी। तो y वाला इक्वेशन जो है हमारा v जीरो साइन थीटा जीरो इंटू टी, तो t की वैल्यू यहां रखेंगे माइनस हाफ जी टी स्क्वायर, तो t की वैल्यू यहां रखेंगे। सो वी कैन राइट y इक्वल टू v जीरो साइन थीटा जीरो, t की वैल्यू x अपॉन v जीरो कॉस थीटा जीरो माइनस हाफ जी, राइट, टी स्क्वायर, सो एक्स स्क्वायर अपॉन वी जीरो स्क्वायर कॉस स्क्वायर थीटा जीरो। क्लियर। ये वी जीरो कैंसल हो जाएगा, साइन थीटा जीरो अपॉन कॉस थीटा जीरो वो हो जाएगा टेन थीटा जीरो। सो वी कैन रीराइट द इक्वेशन y इक्वल टू टेन थीटा जीरो x माइनस g अपॉन टू, राइट, into v zero cos theta zero whole square into this x square, right? Now see here, in this equation multiple of x, that is constant one, multiple of x square, that is also constant one. It implies that the form of this equation, that is like y equal to ax minus bx square, ax minus bx square. And in mathematics you study this thing, this equation y equal to ax minus bx square, that is the equation of parabola. It implies that path of the projectile that will be parabolic one, means it will be like this as shown in the फिगर। क्लियर बच्चों। अब देखो इस फिगर में हमने ऑन इट्स पाथ हाउ द वेलोसिटी इज चेंजिंग फॉर द प्रोजेक्टाइल वो सिर्फ दिखाया है, राइट। तो जैसे हम प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं तो इनिशियल वेलोसिटी v जीरो, तो x डायरेक्शन में इनिशियल वेलोसिटी, y डायरेक्शन में इनिशियल वेलोसिटी। अब x डायरेक्शन में मींस हॉरिजॉन्टल वेलोसिटी दैट विल रिमेन कांस्टेंट वन। तो देखो कोई भी पोजीशन आप ले लो, आपने फिर मानो ये पोजीशन ले ली, तो हॉरिजॉन्टल वेलोसिटी कांस्टेंट एंड वर्टिकल वेलोसिटी दैट विल बी वी वाई जे, राइट। उसका हमने इक्वेशन आगे डिराइव किया है, तो टाइम टी के हिसाब से हम वेलोसिटी कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं। जब यहां पे मैक्सिमम हाइट पे ये पहुंचेगा वहां से फिर वो नीचे आएगा, राइट। तो यहां पे horizontal velocity that will remain constant one, but vertical velocity जीरो हो जाएगी, क्योंकि आगे भी हम पढ़ चुके हैं कि when object is moving in upward direction, then at maximum height its velocity will be zero, or in other words we can say when velocity, vertical velocity becomes zero, it will attain maximum height। बाद में वो नीचे आएगा तो हॉरिजॉन्टल वेलोसिटी वही रहेगी, वर्टिकल वेलोसिटी अब डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन में हो जाएगी, राइट। एंड व्हेन इट हिट द ग्राउंड एट दैट टाइम वर्टिकल वेलोसिटी दैट विल बी माइनस वी जीरो वाई जे, हॉरिजॉन्टल दैट विल रिमेन सेम वन कांस्टेंट वन। क्लियर। तो इससे हम ये समझ सकते हैं। क्लियर, ओके। अब आगे देखते हैं। Next, that is time taken to achieve maximum height. Object upward direction में जाता है, maximum height पे पहुंचता है, then after it move in downward direction. So here now we have to calculate time taken to achieve maximum height. Now see here, suppose time taken to attain maximum height, that we denote by Tm, right? Now at maximum height we discuss this thing, vertical velocity becomes zero. Vertical velocity becomes zero. Vertical velocity means Vy becomes zero, and we already derived the equation for Vy that is V0 sin theta 0 minus GT. Now, at maximum height, at which time it is attained? Tm. So we can say at time t equal to Tm, when it is at maximum height, its vertical velocity becomes 0. So we can substitute here Vy that is equal to 0 for time t equal to Tm. Now make Tm as a subject of equation. So we can write Tm equal to V0 sin theta 0 by G. This is the equation for the time taken to achieve maximum height. Then after, equation of maximum height. Okay. Now see, maximum height, that is the maximum distance covered in vertical direction. It is denoted by h. So we have the equation for the distance covered in vertical direction, that is y equal to V0 sin theta 0 into t minus half gt square. Now maximum height is attained at which time? It is attained at time Tm. So when in this equation we take t equal to Tm, the vertical distance covered y, that will be equal to h. So we can write now y, that is h, equal to V0 sin theta 0. Now t is replaced by Tm and value of Tm, that is V0 sin theta 0 by G. Similarly, minus half G t square. So t that is replaced by Tm, so Tm square. So V0 sin theta 0 by G whole square. Clear? Okay. Now see here. H equal to V0 sin theta 0 into V0 sin theta 0. That is V0 square sin square theta 0 by G. Okay. Similarly here, V0 square sin square theta 0 by V0 square sin square theta 0 by G square. But this G square and G will give you G in denominator. So here we have 1 time V0 square sin square theta 0 by G minus half time V0 square sin square theta 0 by G. So resultantly we will get half time V0 square sin square theta 0 by G, or we can say the equation for the maximum height attained, that is V0 square sin square theta 0 upon 2G. Clear? Now next is time of flight. See, object move in upward direction, then move in downward direction, and resultantly fall on the ground. So when it fall on the ground, it will be now steady. So we can say the total time taken by it in this particular case, that is called time of flight. Okay. Now when it hit the ground, then the vertical displacement, that is 0. So we can say when y equal to 0, the total time, that is the time of flight. So in equation y equal to V0 sin theta 0 into t minus half gt square, we can say at time t equal to tf, that is the time of flight, y will be 0. So in this equation substitute t equal to tf and y equal to 0. So we can take here 1 tf common, take it on left hand side, will be cancelled. Now make tf as a subject of equation. So we will get tf equal to 2v0 sin theta 0 by g. लेकिन हमने आगे प्रूव किया कि v0 sin theta 0 by g, that is the time taken to attain maximum height. मतलब कि जहां से उसको प्रोजेक्ट किया था वहां से मैक्सिमम हाइट अटेन करने में जितना टाइम लगा, in the same time interval it will move from maximum height to ground again. Clear? So we can say time of flight, that is 2 times time taken to attain maximum height. Now next is range of the projectile. Range of projectile means what? So the point from where it is projected to the point on the ground where it fall, right? This total horizontal distance covered, that is called range. So during this projectile motion, whatever is the total horizontal distance covered, that is known as range, and it is denoted by capital R. So see here, the object is projected from the origin O and it falls somewhere here on the horizontal axis. So this particular distance covered in horizontal direction, that is called range of the projectile. So see here, the maximum distance will be covered in the total time of flight, and horizontal velocity, that is constant one. Distance, that is velocity into time. So we can say the maximum distance covered, that is in total time of flight. So in equation of the horizontal distance covered, x equal to v0 cos theta 0 into t, if we take time t equal to tf, then x will be equal to r. So here substitute the values, x equal to r, v0 cos theta 0, t that is tf, and now substitute here the value of tf from this one, 2v0 sin theta 0 by g. v0 into v0, that is v0 square. Then we can take this one, 2 sin theta cos theta, but in trigonometry you used to read this thing, 2 sin theta cos theta, that is sin 2 theta. So we can write this is equal to v0 square sin 2 theta by g. So this is the equation of range. Now see here, one important thing you can observe from this one, the maximum range, that will be when sin 2 theta its value is 1, you will get the maximum range. So maximum range will be v0 square by g. So if you take sin 2 theta, that is 1. When sin 2 theta is 1, it implies that 2 theta, that is 90. Sin 90 is 1. And when 2 theta, that is 90, so theta, that is 45. It implies that if any object for the given initial velocity, if it is projected at angle 45 degree, then you will get maximum range. For any other angle of projection, you will never get the maximum range. So for the given initial velocity, or in other words we can say, if the initial velocity, that is the fixed one, then for that, if the object is projected at 45 degree with horizontal, then definitely you will get the maximum range. Clear to all of you? Now see, this one is the entire theory of projectile motion. Now in this particular theory, the equations which we derived from the starting to the end point, all the equations must be in your mind. सब इक्वेशन आपके दिमाग में होने चाहिए, तभी आप प्रोजेक्टाइल मोशन के रिलेटेड कोई भी एग्जाम्पल और एमसीक्यू सॉल्व कर सकते हो, अदरवाइज नॉट. मतलब कि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. क्लियर?